أما بعد بيان كيفية تطهير الأرض من البول. The clarification of how to purify the earth from urine. So if someone urinates on the earth, on the ground, how do we purify that place? كيفية تطهير الأرض من البول. الحديث التاسع والعشرون the 29th hadith عن أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه قال جاء أعرابي. An A'rabi, here a Bedouin. A'rabi is a Bedouin. He came. فَبَالَ فِي طَائِفَةِ الْمَسْجِدِ. فَبَالَ, so he urinated, right? From the word bowl. فَبَالَ فِي طَائِفَةِ الْمَسْجِدِ. In a corner or a section, a portion of the masjid. He went to and he urinated in a part of the masjid. Ta'ifa, right? From ta, waw, fa. And we might know this word ta'ifa like from the word at-ta'ifatul mansura, the saved or the victorious group. Ta'ifa can mean a group. It doesn't mean the whole, it means a part of the whole, right? So here when we say ta'ifatul masjid, we mean a part or a section of the masjid. فَزَجَرَهُ النَّاسِ. And here we just have this word in Surah Al-Iqra, zajara. So the people, they began to warn him. Zajara, right? To drive him away, to push him back, to warn him, to threaten him, right? To restrain him. فَزَجَرَهُ النَّاسِ. So the people began to try to stop him. فَنَهَاهُمُ النَّبِيُّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. So the Prophet ﷺ stopped them. He prohibited them. Nahahum. He prohibited them. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. فَلَمَّا قَضَى بَوْلَهُ. So when he finished, قَضَى, when he finished بَوْلَهُ, he stopped urinating. Right? He finished his urination. أَمَرَ النَّبِيُّ sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam ordered. أَمَرَ بِذَنُوب. Not dhunub with a dhamma, dhunub meaning sins, but dhanub. Dhanub meaning a bucket. Min ma, from water. A dhanub min ma, a bucket of water. فَأُهْرِكَ عَلَيْهِ. فَأُهْرِكَ عَلَيْهِ. Originally this word comes from Ain Ra Qaf, irq, meaning to flow or like this. And then what happened, they changed the, this is a long thing, I was looking it up last night. They changed the alif to a ha, right? And this is something that the Arabs, they used to do. So it became hirq. And then they put the hamza back, right? For whatever reason. So it becomes, and this is passive here, uhrika, meaning that it became, that it means to be poured on it, alayhi. So this water was poured upon it, right? So a man, a Bedouin, ja'a Arabiyun, a Bedouin came, فَبَالَ فِي طَائِفَةِ الْمَسْجِدِ. He urinated in a corner or portion of the masjid. فَزَجَرَهُ النَّاسِ. So the people, they tried to prevent him, they stopped him, they warned him like this. فَنَهَاهُمُ النَّبِيُّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. So the Prophet ﷺ prohibited them. He prevented them from doing that. فَلَمَّا قَضَى بَوْلَهُ. So when he finished his urinating, right, أَمَرَ النَّبِيُّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ بِذَنُوبٍ مِّن مَاءٍ. So the Prophet ﷺ, he ordered with a bucket of water. فَأُهْرِكَ عَلَيْهِ. And it was poured upon it. Are there any questions about the hadith? Any of the words?
That's a part of another hadith, or just
No,
that's a separate one.
that's a hadith. What else is there?
No, I'm saying, is it part of another one when he was telling them the other people not to I guess chastise and blah 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 blah.
No, it's the same hadith.
I never heard the part about pouring the water on it.
Yeah. It's the same hadith.
For the water.
Yeah, of course. It's always with it. It's always with it. Always with it. Of course, it's the same hadith. So, من فوائد وأحكام الحديث. أولا, from the benefits and the rulings of the hadith. أولا, the first of them, العناية بالمساجد, the concern or the care for the masajid, وتنظيفها, and the cleaning of them, from noon, dha, fa, tanzif, nadhafa, yunadhifu, tanzif, and the cleaning of them, to keep them clean, min al-bawl wa ghayrihi, from urine and other than that, min al-najasat, from the filthy and impure matters, right? ثانيا, second, وجوب التطهير المساجد, the obligation of purifying the masajid, min al-najasa, from the impure things, fawran. Fawran here means immediately. Immediately. إذا حصلت فيها, if it happens in them. حصلت because najasa is feminine, right? With the ta marbuta. إذا حصلت فيها. If this najasa حصلت, if it took place inside of the masajid, then we must clean them fawran. Right? Fawran mean immediately. So the Prophet ﷺ, as soon as he finished, as soon as the man finished urinating, then the Prophet ﷺ ordered for the bucket of water and had it poured on it. And then he called the man over there and he told them that these houses are for the remembrance of Allah. They're not for, urinating and other such things, right? So so then he explained to him these matters. And he didn't stop him from urinating. Why did he prevent them from a zajar? Why did he prohibit them from this? Because if they would have carried him out, then one of two things would have happened, right? Or both. One of two or both. Number one, even if his urine would have stopped due to his fear, then it could cause him some physical harm, that he cut off his urine, that he did this. It could cause him some type of sickness, right? Or some type of harm to his body. Or he wouldn't have stopped urinating and he would have urinated all over his clothes, and as they carried him out of the masjid, beating him up, the urine would have been continuing all over through more parts of the masjid than just that place right there. So he stopped him. And we find this is many benefits, pages and pages written about this hadith, showing the kindness of the Prophet ﷺ, taking the lesser evil over the greater evil, because if he would have allowed them to stop, then harming him or spreading the urine in more places would have been more harmful, and so on and so forth, right? But that's not what's in our book here. What's in our book here is wujub at-tathhir al-masajid min al-najasa fawran, immediately, idha hasalat fiha, if it takes place in them. And thalithan, and this one has where we need to make our comment, but we have time, inshallah ta'ala, to make it before Abdul Hakim, even though I believe he's in the room. Thalithan, thirdly, an al-arda tathuru bisub al-ma, that the earth, tathuru, it is purified, bisub al-ma, with the pouring of water, ala al-makan al-najas, upon the impure place. That the earth, how do you purify it? If someone urinates, as it says, bayanu kayfiyati tathhir al-ard min al-bawl, how do you purify the earth from urine? Right? Bisub al-ma, by pouring water, ala makan al-najas, right? Upon the place which is impure. Biduni tikrar, without repetition. You don't have to keep doing it. You don't have to just keep pouring water. No. Biduni tikrar. Sheikh Fawzan, Bin Baz, and other than them, they say to have more water than urine. To have more water than urine. So wherever the amount of urine is, bring more water. That's why he brought the noob, a bucket of water, right? A person normally doesn't urinate a whole bucket of water. So he brought more water than urine, right? And you don't have to repeat this. And they say you don't have to dig it up. You don't have to turn the ground over. You don't have to do any of that. You just pour the water on that place, right? Illa, except, here he says, and takuna najasa baqiya. So if you did it If you poured a bucket of water, for instance, I don't know how to do it, but say you poured a bucket, this is the urine, right? Or let's do it differently. This is the urine, right? Okay, and then you poured the water, and the water went like this, and it didn't get this, it went there, it didn't get all of it. Well, then you would have to repeat it, right? Then you would have to repeat it if there was still urine remaining. Or if when you splash the water, on it, that the urine splashed around other places, then you would have to repeat it and get the urine up, right? Illa an takuna najasa baqiya, except if the najasa, this impurity, is still there, baqiya, it remains. Then there becomes an issue here. It says fatazalu qabla subul ma, which can be translated as, so it goes away before the pouring of water, which this sentence does not make sense, right? Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Fatazalu qabla subul ma, so it goes away before the pouring of water. As we said, this sentence does not make sense, so it could be fala tazalu, so it does not go away qabla subul ma, so it does not go away except or before the water pours away. Meaning, it could mean if that was what was intended, and the author never responded to us, so we don't know, right? We can't talk to him to ask him, right? But he says, if it said fala tazalu qabla subul ma, it could be the position that the sun or there's nothing else that can purify this except for water. Fala tazalu, so it does not cease, this najasa does not cease, qabla subul ma, before the water is poured. That's what it could mean, right? And if you follow the Hanbali madhab or some piece within it, then that's what it seems like it could be. And it does not go away. It does not cease to be there, qabla subul ma, before the pouring of water. Meaning, even if it dried up, then it's still there, right? Even if the sun beat it and baked it up, then the najasa is still there. So you have to pour the water. Or it could be fatazalu qabla subul ma bishams, or something else would be there. Then it could be, then it does go away before the pouring of water with the sun or such and such and such and such. But that has a whole lot more missing if we do that. So the point that we want to make, and I was speaking to Abdul Hakim about this last night when I was like confused about this this phrase. بصب الماء نعم صب الماء جزاك الله خيرا بصب الماء بفتح, right? صب يصب نعم. So the point we want to make here is, number one, we have to read carefully and know that there are typos. Number two, you want to be careful of just quoting something and taking as it is. This sentence here, it doesn't make sense, right? So you can't just quote him and say that he meant this or he meant that. It could be numerous options. There's some mistakes there. And when we quote somebody, we want to verify, right? We want to verify what it is before we go around saying that it said what it said. So when you get messages in the mail, in WhatsApp and Facebook and all that other stuff, don't just go quoting them that this is what the person said. There could be mistakes. We want to verify this news, as Allah tells us. But here, there's obviously something missing, right? وَتَزَالُ قَبْلَ صَبِّ الْمَاءِ, and it goes away before the pouring of water. If the sun beats it and dries it and purifies it or something, it could be that. Or فَلَا تَزَالُ, then it does not go away قَبْلَ صَبِّ الْمَاءِ, before the pouring of the water, right? Allah knows best what this is. Are there any questions besides the third part, or at least the skipping that part of it? And al-arda, that the earth, tathuru bi sabbil ma, It is purified with the pouring of the water, as Abdul Hakim pointed out, صب الماء بصب الماء, with the pouring of the water, على مكان النجس, upon the impure place, بدون تكرار, without repetition, إلا أن تكون النجاسة باقية, except if the najasa is remaining, this impurity. Any questions?
Said
بصب الماء. نعم.
بسبب
yeah, because it's مضاف إليه. بصب الماء. مضاف إليه. No, بصب, yeah.
بسبب الله.
نعم. نعم. طيب, I'm gonna stop this.
So that's a different.
What?
That's a different word for pour, huh? Because the other one was
أهريك. Yeah. Yeah, this is a different one. It's same meaning though. No. I'm gonna stop this here, and Abdul Hakim has a minute or two, and we'll check.